Hello and welcome to our channel. We're going to tell you a story. Lily Ahmed had been everything to Samir Khan. His best friend's little girl, the apple of his eye. When his friend Zahid died unexpectedly in an accident, Samir promised Lily's grandmother, Mrs. Ahmed, that he'd always be there for Lily. At just 5 years old, Lily lost her dad and her mother had passed away years earlier. Samir stepped in, not officially adopting her, but caring for her as if she were his own daughter. He attended her school plays, helped with homework and taught her how to ride a bike. He took her on weekend outings to parks and libraries. Samir even coached her little soccer team. People said Lily thought he was her father, and in her heart she believed it. Samir didn't correct her, just felt natural. As Lily grew, the bond grew stronger. By the time she turned 11, she was tiny and fierce, just like her dad once had been. Samir, a steady and gentle man in his early 30s, couldn't imagine life without her. In their small Karachi apartment, they'd cook evening dinners together, Lily helping stir the karahi while Samir chopped. She'd chatter about school, best friends, dreams, and Samir would laugh and encourage her. He felt honored she'd lean into his shoulder during scary storms, trusting him. Mrs. Ahmed was always nearby, but aging quickly. She'd ask Samir, "You're sure you can keep caring for her forever?" And he always replied, "I will. She's mine in every way that matters." When Lily turned 12, Mrs. Ahmed fell ill. In a quiet moment, she whispered to Lily privately, "Your real father. He lived in Hyderabad, but your mother never told him you were born." Mrs. Ahmed died soon after. Lily was devastated, but also curious. Who was her biological father? At school, a controversial science project offered voluntary saliva DNA tests, purely educational. Lily thought it would be neat. Samir laughed about it. You might learn you're related to a famous scientist or a long-lost cousin. They did it jokingly. But when the results came back, Lily saw a match, and her eyes widened. A man in distant Hyderabad shared 99.9% of her DNA. He gasped. She was his daughter. She hid the printout from Samir. She couldn't tell him, she loved him, but she needed answers. The next weekend, she quietly wrote an email to a professor at a university in Hyderabad. She said she'd discovered her birth father through DNA and asked if he could help her find him. She didn't sign her name. Samir noticed her silence. Lily used to talk constantly. Now she barely said a word, slept fitfully, and her appetite was gone. He asked gently, "Lily, what's wrong?" She replied, trailing off, "Nothing, Dada." Samir sensed something had changed but didn't push. He waited, silently tortured. One rainy afternoon, Lily broke. She showed him the printed result. "He's out there," she whispered. "My real father." Samir's heart almost cracked, but he hugged her tight and said, "You are my daughter, Lily. Nothing changes that." But Lily shook her head. "I need to know him. I must meet him." Tears sprang in both their eyes. Samir nodded. He loved her too much to hold her hostage. But he felt as though he'd lost part of his soul. He helped her write a proper email to the university, this time signing Lily Ahmed, age 12, in Karachi. Weeks passed. Samir waited in silence. Lily waited, sleepless and anxious. Then one morning the reply came. An invitation to Hyderabad to meet. The father, Mr. Faizan Mir, was a gentle academic who'd been devastated to learn of Lily's birth only now. He insisted he'd want to raise her with love and sincerity. Lily burst into tears. Samir held her. "We have to go," she said. They booked tickets. They flew to Hyderabad. Samir insisted on an open mind and heart. Not a competition but a meeting. On arrival, their emotions ran wild. Lily clung to Samir, trembling. How could she leave him? He looked at her and promised softly, "I'll always be here no matter what." They drove to the address Professor had given them, a modest flat near the university. Lily's heartbeat thundered. Samir squeezed her hand. He realized that in letting her meet Faizan, he risked her drifting, but he cared about her freedom more than his own fear. That evening they knocked. A man opened the door, mid-30s, nervous but warm. He looked at Lily like she was his heart reborn. Lily froze. Samir breathed cold. Faison said, voice quivering, "You must be Lily." She nodded, eyes shining. He opened his arms. Samir stayed back. He avoided making eye contact. Lily ran into Faison's embrace. Samir watched as Lily cried into his chest. Then she looked back and saw Samir on the threshold. Tears gathered again. She ran to him instead, hugging both. All three. And in that moment Samir realized they could all belong. That night, he retreated to a small guest room. Lily and Faison did most of the talking. Samir sat quietly, unsure where he fit. The next day, Faison invited Lily and Samir to a boat ride on Hussein Sagar. Lily laughed. "I never dreamed we'd both come." Faison said, "You have always been mine too." The tension floated. They both loved her deeply, but in different ways. Samir mentioned, "I'll go back to Karachi soon, but I'll visit whenever you invite me." Faison blinked, surprise and gratitude. Lily gripped Samir's hand. "Please don't leave." Faison nodded. "As long as you want him here." Lily cried softly. "I do." They compromised. Lily would stay academically in Hyderabad, but every vacation she'd return to Samir in Karachi. Faison agreed. Over the next few weeks, relationships evolved. They had dinners together. Samir cooking karahi, Faison serving dessert from Hyderabad's famous mithai shops. They traded stories. Faison speaking Urdu sweetly, telling Lily about Zahid, her father, and how he'd love to have met him. Samir talked about Lily's childhood antics. Her first soccer goal, the broken bicycle crash that gave her two black-eyed sisters, and the tiny fingerprint art she made on his old passport photo. Sometimes they argued. Faison would ask how Samir could let Lily believe he was her father. Samir would reply, "She needed love, security, a man who'd stand by her. Zahid was gone, I didn't lie. I raised her because she needed me." But eventually they found harmony. They both honored Zahid in stories to Lily. They called him by name. Samir even had a small photo of Zahid in their living room. Faison admired that. One rainy evening Lily fell ill, a high fever. Both men panicked. Together they rushed to the hospital. Faison held her hand. Samir texted Mrs. Ahmed's niece in Karachi to stay calm. Lily moaned in pain. She looked at Faison and whispered, "Did it, Papa?" "I don't know." She tried to smile. Both men nearly broke. When the doctor eventually announced she'd pneumonia but would recover with antibiotics, both men exhaled. They realized in crisis, their love for Lily was bigger than rivalry. They prayed together quietly. Lily recovered. The tension melted. One morning, Samir and Faison spoke alone on the rooftop. Faison said, "I'm grateful you raised her so bravely. But I also feel guilt that I wasn't there." Samir replied, "It's not guilt. You couldn't know. I never meant to block you out. I love her. And I love you for being brave now." They made a pact. When Lily turns 14, legal adoption papers could reflect Faison as the official father, but Samir would remain her adoptive guardian, her dada. Or if she preferred, both could appear on documents. They'd choose together when she's old enough. For now, Samir would continue daily life with her, but Faison would begin official visits. Father-daughter mornings together, shared birthdays, festivals. On the next Father's Day they celebrated. Lily made 2 cards. Samir woke to one handmade decoration reading, "Best Dada." Faison stepped in at midday with gifts. A simple framed portrait of Zahid and Lily in childhood. Samir accepted it graciously. They sat together at a cafe by the lake. Lily offered both his tea and her hugs. Faison said, "I'm honored to now be your father in every way that's real." Samir smiled. "And I'm honored to still be yours." Lily looked between them, tears shining. "I am so lucky. Both of you made me who I am." Over the next 2 years, their blended family evolved into something beautiful. They celebrated Eid together. Samir's cousins visited in Karachi. Faizan and Lily flew down, surprising Samir. Samir's mother, Mrs. Ahmed's niece, saw them together and said, "Perhaps Zahid would have wanted this. Love, not division." They shared custody with harmony. Lily's school in Hyderabad arranged remote learning during Karachi holidays. Faizan bought her new books. Samir brought toys and weekend cricket gear. When Lily missed Zahid, they both spoke lovingly of him. Samir visited Faizan's university lectures. Faizan attended Lily's soccer matches in Karachi. At 14, Lily expressed her wish. She didn't want to choose between them. After heartfelt conversation, they drafted a paper. 2 legal fathers, Faizan as her biological father and legal guardian, and Samir as her adoptive father and lifelong guardian. They signed it together, in a simple ceremony with photos of Zahid in the background. Tears fell, but they smiled. Samir said to Lily that evening, "You can call us whatever you want. What matters is you feel safe, loved and free." She hugged both. "I love you both equally." By 15, they all lived in Karachi full-time. Lily chose to finish school there. Faizan moved, teaching at a local university. Their home buzzed. 2 fathers helping with science projects, cricket games in the yard, birthday celebrations, and stories about Zahid. They had moments of friction, reasonable disagreements over discipline or priorities, but they navigated them with. Sometimes in quiet evenings, all 3 sat watching old videos of Lily as a toddler, Zahid's laughter echoing. Samir put his arm around Faizan. Faizan placed a hand on Samir's shoulder. Lily rested her head against both. And Samir thought, "I gave her the stability she needed. And now she has the biological father she deserves. We are not rivals. We're keepers of her heart." I hope you enjoyed this story. Have you ever experienced? Share your stories with us in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories and adventures. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.